Hi all. Today we are on day 12 and today we're going to see about renaming the Spark data frame columns or expressions. First we'll see how to create a new column using an alias. So first we have an users underscore df which has in columns like id, first name, last name, email, etc. So I'm selecting only the required columns here like id, first name and last name. So if you can see the values here, id we have an 5 IDs and the corresponding first name and last names we have. So now I'm trying to create a new column which is nothing but a full underscore name. This is a new column which I'm going to create, and how I'm going to create is like using an alias method. So first for that, right, I need to concatenate the first name and last name. So I'm using a concatenate and let to hardcode the value as we discussed in the previous session. So I'm selecting a required columns here and I'm doing a concatenation of first name and last name, and I'm aliasing that as in a full name. So I'm creating a new column here as full underscore name, which is concatenation of first name and then last name. So by using an alias we can create a new column. The second method is to create a new column is using a with column. So we are going to see multiple examples. In first example, we're going to do the same operation like concatenating the first name and last name by using a with column. Earlier we have seen that using an alias. To now we're going to see with the with column. So from users underscore df, I'm selecting all the required fields, and with column, whatever the new column name we have to give, that's nothing but a full underscore name. Then I'm giving a function like what transformation I needed here, like concatenation of first name then the last name. So here also, right, I'm getting the required result like the full name is the new column which is created, which is nothing but a concatenation of first name and then last name. So there are two methods to create a new column using. One is using an alias and other using a with column. There is another example now we'll see, like I'm having in phone numbers is one of the column. In phone number is nothing but an array data type which I have, and multiple values in that line, like I have a home number as well as the mobile number. In some cases I will have only the mobile number. So what I needed is like I need a new column name which is nothing but an phone underscore number count. So phone underscore number count will tell how many numbers I have in that array. So to get the array count and the length of the array, we have a function like size. So if we use the size, right, we need to import the size from pyspark.sql functions, import size. And then with column, I'm creating a new column is like phone underscore number underscore count. Then I'm doing a sign of size of 4 numbers so that I'm getting the required result here. Next, we're going to see how to rename the column using a with column renamed. So earlier we have seen how multiple ways to create a new column. Now, if you want to rename the existing column, how we can use do that with the help of a with column renamed. So I'm going to rename ID as an user underscore ID, the first name as an user underscore first underscore name, last name as an user underscore last underscore name. So first, right, we need to select all the required columns here, and I'm using an with column renamed. In place of ID, I'm giving a new name as user underscore ID. Similarly for first name and last name. So if you see the result here, we are getting the column names are changed. The user underscore ID, user underscore name, and user underscore last name, first name and last name. Then we can do the rename using an with column as well, but the only problem here, the column will be if the name of the new column name and the old column name and new column name is different, then we're going to get both the things in our output. So if you see here, I'm selecting an ID, first name and last name. Then ID, I'm renaming that as an ID again. First name, I'm renaming that as an first name again, so that the ID and first name we have only one column names. And if you come to the last name, I'm renaming that as an user underscore last name by referring to the last name, so that we can able to see the last name as well as user underscore last name which having the same values. If you want only the new column name, then what you can do on top of that, you can do a select and you can get the new column name values. Also, we can do rename using an alias, like how we created a new column using alias. In a similar way, we can do an renaming using an alias. I'm doing a select and I'm getting the columns like users df of id, first name and last name. Then I'm aliasing that as an users underscore id, first name and last name. So if you can see that the names of the column names are getting changed here. Then finally, we're going to see how we can rename the multiple columns. Let's say you have 100 columns in a table and you want to rename at least some 50 columns. So if you manually do a with column rename for all the 50 columns, that is going to take a lot of time. So in place of that, right, what you can do, you can have a list of the column names which you're going to change. So the required columns, like I want to change the column name for these list of columns. So I'm mentioning that, and what is the new name for these columns, the corresponding names, right? The ID, which is mapped to user ID, and similarly, right, the first name is used to user first name, the last name is user last name. The similarly, the phone number is user phone number. Now, what you have to do, you have to, from the users underscore df, you have to select all the required columns so that all the required columns will be get selected. Then you have to use a function like dot to df. Then you have to give the target column names and you have to specifically mention the star value here, because the to df will consider the varying arguments, so that you have to mention the star here. And then if you do on a show, you will be able to get the result like users underscore id, users underscore first name, and the corresponding new column names you will get, so that right, all the columns names will be get changed to the new column names here. I hope this session will help you. Thanks for watching. Bye.